Hi guys, it's Barry. I wanted to try something new today. Hey friends, this is Barry. So as you can see, I've started up a brand new Guild Wars 2 account on a free-to-play. You can see the little upgrade account in this section, so you can tell this is brand new with no characters yet. So the first step that we're going to do is create our character. Alright, so here we are on our race selection screen. You have several different races to choose from in Guild Wars 2. The first you have our Char. These are big cat-like creatures. They're really good with war and machinery and all that. Next you have humans. Humans have been at war with the Char for quite a while now, but they're sheer average basic humans, always a good starter. Over here we have the Norn. They're similar to humans in body structure, but they are much larger. They also come from the far north. They are also really good warriors, but they're known for their connection to the spirits and animals and things like that. Next you have Asura, which are much smaller in stature, and they've got these really long ears, but they're kind of like little gremlins that come from underground, but they're extremely intelligent. They're known for their scientific research and doing everything they can to learn. Very knowledgeable creatures, race. Next you have Sylvari. They're like the tree people era of this section. I love Sylvari because they're just so funny to me. I don't know why. They're basically grown from a tree, so they're like the plant connected to nature and everything, but they are the newest race of these races. All these other races have been around for a while, just hidden in different areas. The Sylvari are the most recent race. Like they've only been around for like the last 30-ish years in game, whereas humans and Char have been around for years and years. Norn and Asura have been around for years and years. But whatever race you pick is just based on personal preference. So I myself am going to choose a Sylvari, but the only thing it really changes is where you start at on the map. So if you start as a human, you'll start closer to a human city. If you start as a Char, you'll start closer to the Char territories and areas with their city. Asura is the same, you start Metro Province, and then Norn you'll start in Holbrook. And that's really the only change. There are a few race-specific skills that you can have as these guys, but they really don't amount to much, and people mostly forget that they even have them. So that's not a real big deal. So whatever race you want to pick for your starting character, that is completely up to you based on personal preference. I like Sylvari, so we're going to make a Sylvari today. You hit the little next button. I'm going to make a female Sylvari. Again, personal preference, doesn't change anything gameplay-wise. Now here is the fun thing. So we get to choose our profession. When I first started out, I started out as a Guardian. They are the paladin type class. They use both defensive magic but also melee weapons. They use some range too, but not a whole lot, mostly just melee weapons. Very good protectors, all around good support. Warriors, they're kind of like your fighter class. They also are experts in melee weapons, but they will go all out. They're kind of like the berserker class of them. But not so much for defense, but more for offense. Revenant is newer. It came with Heart of Thorns, so I actually can't select this one because that one is specific to one of the expansions, so we're not getting today. Next you have Engineer. These ones go with gadgets and gizmos and things like that. They can build mechs that follow them around. Thief is your rogue class. They go with sneaking around abilities, hiding and stabbing from the shadows, that type of deal. Ranger. Ranger is a typical archer class. They have pets that you can have with them. They summon their pets, and you can have different pets, depending upon what you're using them for, what they'll help you out with. Mesmer is a class that is very unique to Guild Wars 2, I think. But they have different things where they use illusion magic. So, they can create different instruments, create different clones, and shatter those clones. They're all illusion-based. Next we have the Necromancer. I think Necromancer is pretty self-explanatory. They raise the dead. They have little undead minions that follow them around, but they can also call on spirits and things to help them out in battle. And then finally you have Elementalist, which is your magic class. They can control as is in their name, they control the elements. They have fire, water, earth, and air, lightning, thunder type. So of these different types, they're actually lined up very well because I believe the Mesmer, Necro, and Elementalist are all light armor classes. Engineer, Thief, and Ranger are medium armor classes, and then Guardian, Warrior, and Revenant are heavy armor classes. So you see how their armor is all big and bulky. This is more medium style armor, and this is very light armor. So again, that doesn't really change a whole lot, just kind of based on their squishiness. So Guardians are usually, well, not usually, a little bit harder to kill sometimes than Elementalist. Elementalist are kind of the squishiest of them. So I have played a few of these. I want to play something new today. I want to play something that I have never tried before. On my main account, I primarily main a Sylvari Guardian, but I wanted to try something else. I've tried out Warrior a little bit, tried out Mesmer a little bit, Necromancer a little bit, Elementalist I think is my second most used compared to the Guardian. I have a Ranger, but I haven't really used her very much. So really the classes that I haven't touched at all are Revenant, Thief, and Engineer. So today I think I'm going to try a Thief. I've never made a Thief before, I've never tried a Thief before, so we're going to go with that. And then the way that GuildWars2 works is you are locked into your profession with your character that you create. You can always go back and create new characters to try out the different professions, but the profession is what you use for your, attack abilities. That's your main gameplay is going to be based on your profession. So if you try one out, you try out a Thief and you say, I didn't really like this playstyle, maybe it's heavily based on dodging and running around and I don't really like that. I would rather sit and tank and wail on an enemy. Maybe you want to try a Guardian or a Warrior. You can read the little descriptions and it does say complexity there. I don't know how valuable the complexity section is because I think they're all pretty much the same anyway. Guardians, very much picked class. Warriors probably picked a lot. But yeah, it's just whatever. You can read the little descriptions, feel like whatever strikes your fancy. Then again, you can always, if you play for a little bit, decide, okay, I want to try something else. Either create a new character or delete the character you don't like and try something else. So it's all good. But today we're going to be making a Thief. Next is character creation. You can change their, their body features, their physique, their skin patterns, their colors and everything. Head options, you can change their faces and their hairstyles. Sylvari is so silly to me because they're plants, so you can pick like plant hairstyles. I think they're hilarious. So they've got lots of different customization. All the other classes and races also have these characterizations, just, unique to those classes. It could just be a tree. So yeah, you go through, and I'm going to go through and figure out how I want my Sylvari Thief to look. You can change a lot of different features. But yeah, just go with whatever you find most appealing as your character. And I will see you at the end of this.
I am Sylvari.
Alright, so here we are at the start of the story. For Silvari, it drops us into the start of the dream. It has a little bit of a tutorial area. First, to get your camera control, you can hold the right mouse button and move around. This is the introduction. We're currently in the dream, not out in the real world yet, but we will get there. So you can see I've got a little chat going here. You can see a little bit of a map down here, and these will be your skills. So the first thing that I actually want to do is adjust my settings. So if I go up to Game Menu and hit Options, there are a few settings that I can look through. And you can adjust these as you want. Some of them are a little bit more helpful than others, but it's good to look through those and adjust them to whatever you want. So I'm going to go through and fix mine real quick. Alright, so I have adjusted a few of my settings just to suit my personal preferences. Something that I did want to point out was I rebound some of my skills. So all this bar down at the bottom is your skill bar. So the weapons are fine, 1 through 4, or 1 through 5, that's fine. This will be your healing skill, that I've rebound to Q to be closer to my movement set. These 3 over here are your utility skills, and the game will explain it as you go through and finish the tutorial. Utility skills are things that your character can do based on your profession, and they can be swapped in and out as needed based on what they provide. And that last one will be your elite skill, or your ultimate. Think of it in those terms. Some of the things I did was adjusted my map so I could see the time of day. Your quests are always going to be in this corner over here. And you see there's an XP bar down at the bottom, so as you go through and gain XP, it will go down in here. And see, it tells me what next to expect as I unlock the different levels and go through the story. Over here you'll have your party, which is different people that you play with. You can join individuals, you can join squads. Down here with the chat box function, I've updated that a little bit. You can check your options, adjust those as needed as well. If you ever want to say, so here's your main one, it has all the random NPC chatter going on. You can always add and adjust as needed, so if I didn't want to see, all the conversation that's going on in the world, I can just limit it to only what's going on in my party, or only what's going on in my squad, or my guild. So, those are just different things you can go through and adjust as you play the game. Thanks for joining me on my lovely experiment today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Remember, be kind, be nice to people, and always hope. Thanks. Bye.